Over the jagged mountains of Kunar Province, Afghanistan, the night air tasted of blood and rain. 6 figures moved like ghosts through the alien green glow of night vision, every shadow a potential enemy. Staff Sergeant Miguel Reyes signaled a halt. His gut screamed danger despite intelligence reports promising a clear path. He radioed command. "The terrain feels wrong. Requesting reassessment." The reply was sharp. "Negative, Ghost Lead. Continue." He glanced at his team. Tired eyes, steady hands, trusting orders that could get them all killed. "Roger that," he muttered. 20 yards later, the valley exploded in a storm of gunfire. 2 men dropped instantly. A round slammed into Reyes's chest plate, throwing him back. As he dragged a wounded comrade behind a boulder, 3 insurgents flanked them, rifles raised. It was over. But then, a blur of motion. A small figure moving with lethal precision. 1 suppressed shot, and an enemy fell. A second collapsed without a sound. The third choked and dropped. 3 kills in 5 seconds. Through his night vision, Reyes saw her face. Young, calm, with steady eyes. Petty Officer Emma Hale, the new addition no one trusted. She knelt beside him. "Extraction now," she said, her voice even. The official report would call it enemy contact. The survivors would call it the night death arrived wearing the face of discipline. Years later, under the baking Southern California sun, the training yard at Naval Base Coronado buzzed with energy. Petty Officer First Class Emma Hale stood at the center of a circle of sailors. Captain Lawrence Mercer, a man who valued theatrics over tactics, paced the edge. "Again!" he barked at Hale's sparring partner, a nervous young seaman. The seaman lunged. Hale sidestepped, redirecting his momentum, and he stumbled. The crowd murmured. Mercer's face darkened. "Strike her like a real opponent," he commanded. The young man froze, horrified. Silence. Hale remained perfectly still, a picture of poised readiness. Master Chief Aaron Briggs watched from the shade of a Humvee, recognizing the quiet confidence of a true master, but Mercer saw only fear. "Fine," he sneered and called forward Gunnery Sergeant Marcus Doyle, a mountain of a man. "Full contact. No dancing." Doyle lunged, his fist a blur. In a single fluid motion, Hale pivoted, slipped under his arm, and locked him to the ground, her knee controlling his airway. 3 seconds. Silent. Controlled. Absolute. She rose, standing at parade rest, her face a mask of professional calm. Mercer's authority fractured. Briggs let out a slow breath. Control. That was real power. Later, in his quiet office, Briggs pulled up Emma Hale's restricted personnel file. Commendations with no signatures. Reports that ended abruptly. He scrolled through the classified details of an operation in Helmand Province. An ambush that wiped out her unit, leaving 1 lieutenant critically wounded. For 18 hours, Hale had held the line alone, under constant fire, moving the wounded, rationing ammunition and morphine until extraction arrived. A single sentence from the unit commander stood out. Single operator prevented total loss. But her name was nowhere in the official report. Briggs found the signature that had reassigned the credit. Captain Mercer, then just a staff officer, playing the political game. Now, years later, she had just dismantled a Marine twice her size, proving what the buried report had always known. Briggs murmured to the empty room, "Justice has a long memory." Inside a secure facility at Coronado, Hale stood beside Mercer, Colonel Daniels from JSOC, and Master Chief Briggs. Admiral Westfield's voice cut through the sterile air. "We have confirmed intelligence on Armen Vetrov." The name hit Hale like a physical blow. Vetrov, a ghost responsible for the deaths of multiple U.S. personnel, including those in her old unit. A 36-hour window to act. Task Force Ghost was being reactivated. "Given your history with the target, Petty Officer Hale, you will lead," the Admiral stated. The mission was clear. A surgical insertion, 3 operators, minimal footprint. Confirm and eliminate Vetrov, and recover his digital assets. Hale's voice was steady as she acknowledged the order. As she and Mercer left, Briggs pulled her aside. "Are you sure you're clear for this?" he asked quietly. "It's been 4 years," she replied, her eyes unreadable. "Then make sure this ends right," Briggs said, his voice heavy with meaning. In a dusty warehouse outside a Romanian city, Hale, Senior Chief Drake and Chief Winters pored over maps, dissecting routes, ridges and choke points. The plan was surgical. A high-altitude jump, followed by an 8-kilometer trek through frozen marshland to a fortified lodge. Every detail was accounted for, every contingency planned. Mercer, coordinating from a remote command post, tracked maritime traffic patterns where a 5-second deviation could mean the difference between life and death. At 21,000 feet, they plunged into the black sky. Wind and snow lashed at their visors as they fell. 8 kilometers of dark forest swallowed them whole. Progress was measured in silent hand signals and the crunch of snow under their boots. 2 kilometers from the target, they settled into a hidden position, watching the lodge through thermal optics. 6 guards patrolled the exterior. A single window glowed with warmth. Vetrov was there. At 0300, they moved. Silent, precise, committed. As a guard turned, Drake dispatched him without a sound. Winters mouthed, 2 minutes. They breached the door. Vetrov, caught by surprise, looked up. He recognized Hale instantly. "Laptop and passcodes," she demanded, leveling her weapon. A wry smile touched Vetrov's lips. "Secrets die with me," he taunted. "The ledger is closing." Hale's voice was flat, emotionless. Vetrov's smile faded. "We serve our flags, not our consciences." A single suppressed shot echoed in the room. Target eliminated. Suddenly, an alarm blared. They had been discovered. Gunfire splintered the door frames as they fought their way back through the corridors. They burst out a window, landing in the deep snow, with enemy trucks in hot pursuit. The team split, disabling the vehicles before melting back into the darkness. Minutes later, the thumping rotors of a Chinook cut through the night. 3 figures sprinted through the rotor wash. Drake was wounded, supported by Winters, while Hale laid down covering fire. On board, as the adrenaline faded, a quiet exhaustion set in. Victory was not loud or triumphant, but a shared,